We're live. We're live. It's fantastic. It's Fantastic Friday.
And the Fantastic Four. Fuck it. Come at us, Marvel.
For real. With a sponsorship. You are Warner Brothers. We out here doing the good work for you. You know what? I have noticed something lately that I feel like Disney recognizes, that where their fans are at, and they know, about people like us on the internet that sit around and talk on their stuff all the time. And so I've noticed lately with these Disney Plus shows that like I'm seeing all these YouTubers and stuff doing direct interviews with like the director of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or like I've seen Benedict Cumberbatch like on a lot of stuff that's like what, like, but I think that's just Disney being smart. I think that's Disney recognizing where their people are at, where their crowd.
Real recognize real, brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, man, we have a lot to get into today. I forgot to download a couple of posters. So talk to the people for a second, Shep.
What's up, people? My name's Shep. I'm here on the Chase Shep show. It's Fantastic Friday. We got Falcon Winter Soldier episode 4. So some spoiler talk coming in. We got Invincible episodes 4 and 5 coming at you. Some spoiler talk coming at you. We got some new movies. Godzilla vs. Kong, beautiful movie. So some spoilers. The Unholy, I fucked with that hard. So some spoilers again. ChaseandShep.com. If you don't know now, you know it's at the bottom. Ticking, talking. If you haven't checked out Easter Sunday, check out Easter Sunday. Even though Easter's past, it's pretty dope. It'll still get a laugh out of you. I feel like I could watch a Christmas movie right now, so why not watch Easter all year? We're gonna probably be throwing it in your face whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, really, I think it's a pretty good like year-round movie.
Yeah. I think we did. I think we did good. I think we did good.
Woo.
Bless you, brother. Bless you, brother. It's been a great Friday. If you're a fan at any of these shows, you've been eating good today as well as every week, I feel like. I very much so liked Invincible. Yeah. I very much like where we're at with that show.
Well,
it's WrestleMania weekend, so there's another reason to get hype. Tomorrow starts the 2-day WrestleMania, night 1, night 2. I'm going to be watching that shit. Getting in a little squish match.
Well, I'm ready to roll here. So I think very first and foremost, what we need to dive into is Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier. I had to change shirts just because I could not wear this shirt for today's episode. Because today's episode was bonkers. Just nuts.
It really was. Really was bonkers, man. They really it really is getting lit. I knew going into this, like I said, the guy that played Winter Soldier said his favorite end episode cliffhanger was definitely episode 4.
Yeah.
I can see why.
For sure, because that ending definitely leaves you with some striking imagery. It's definitely going to stick with you, and even if you do forget it, it's going to be everywhere on the internet. Just like Tony Stark is for Peter Parker. It's just going to be everywhere. You won't be able to forget. So
there's a lot of dope shots there at the end, man. There's a lot of.
It's a beautifully directed.
In a lot of similar feels. A lot of people, when we get to the end and talking about it, we'll dive into that. Referencing an older movie that might play the same there, but yeah, this episode was pretty dope. We had where we left the fam off, of course, was on the tail of the Flag Smashers. So we get them showing up and knowing what's up. With Zemo, he tricks this little kid into letting them know where funerals going down and shit. So you're like, all right. And then, John Walker pops his head in, and he's like, whoa, buddy. I'm going. He's, and he's like, I'm going with you guys.
The Wakandans as well have also come to the party.
Yeah, and it's dope to note that, you know, Winter Soldier comes back in, and when Zemo says something, he don't try to hide it or nothing. He's just like, the Wakandans want to take you.
Yeah.
I told him not right now, so
Yeah.
so you know.
Yeah.
But
this episode, we definitely see more of why Zemo is just such a great villain and just such a great character in general, I think. Especially that the kid. Yeah.
True, but bringing that up definitely reminded me of how the show opened with that dope, you know, the Wakandans getting Bucky mind controlled.
Yeah.
And it's like, did that little montage of him having to see all that shit as the Winter Soldier and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty dope. That was a good, nice little tie in there.
Yeah.
And then they get into what? Yeah, you were saying Zemo with the kid. That was a nice scene. You got to hear him sing a little nursery rhyme type song.
Yep. Buys the kid off with some candy. And it just goes to show, you know, it's just how Zemo operates. He knows how to get into people's heads. He knows how to get what he wants, you know. He's a very, very powerful character without having any powers at all, you know. He's just proof of that. And I'm, like we were talking about earlier, I'm excited to see some Thunderbolts start shaping up and seeing more of Zemo down the line, just because he's just such a great character. But yeah, when John Walker shows up on the scene in this episode, like from the jump, as soon as he arrives, he just does not look okay. He just looks like he is coming apart at the seams, and I like how his facial hair is getting more like unkempt as he's just descending into madness.
Yeah, and you know, like I noted while watching this episode, before the end, there was a part that I'm like, you know, he gives me anxiety. Like just in when he's around, I think it was where he was like all staring off and pacing when Falcon was talking to the leader of the Flag Smashers. And I was like, you know, he gives me anxiety. Like, goddamn, dude, like, fuck. Just stop for a second.
Right. You never know what he's gonna do. And you're just like, dude, don't do what you're thinking about doing. But then he does. He does exactly what you're like, bro, just chill for a second, you know, just chill. And the one person that could get him to chill was his best friend. And in today's episode, they make it seem like he died. And then it's like, oh no, Battlestar gets himself out of the situation. He's good to go, you know. Before we get into that, though, I was saying before how, like, with John Walker's character, I think, like, it's even more jarring because they very, very briefly, you know, the first time we met John Walker, like, in what was it, the second episode, when we see him in his old high school and stuff. Like, we have that episode. Well, we get a scene kind of like that in this episode too, which is him and Lamar talking. It's like, well, would you take the serum? And they're talking about, you know, what we did in Afghanistan, was that right? And these little moments make him so human, and you see that he's just another person trying to live up to this legacy of the Shield, and you know, similar to Carly, it's just like, you know, he's with your fight, he's just not with how you're fighting it, sort of thing, you know. And it's
like, to me, that whole scene with those two is like was foreshadowing where his descent comes in, because it's like they make that line, you know, Battlestar makes that line to him saying, man, if we had that serum, we could have saved all the people. And then it's like, when we see him at the end, he has the serum and he can't save his own buddy that's right next to him.
That's
so like, so they I think they did a great job with their characters within this, in the dialogues, like I said, with Falcon and the leader of the Flag Smashers. Like, that was a very powerful scene to me too, and that was like, to me, it was like a turning point. It's like, this is showing, and I believe I said this a few episodes back, that, you know, the Flag Smasher people aren't really bad,
right?
And you even have Falcon being like, I'm not even saying you're wrong, I just don't like how you go about it. You know, like, and he's like, I want to help this, you know, and all this shit. And this is like you were saying, it's showing him being the perfect person to wield the shield.
Yes, exactly. Like, he's definitely like proving
that to me was a very Steve Rogers thing, because
Yeah,
I was the
yeah.
whole time when we were getting to learn that character. I forget the girl's name that's the leader, Carol maybe or something like that. Something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm probably
Carly.
off. Carly, there you go.
Carly. Yeah.
There you go. I felt like when she was talking, these are all the people that got displaced once everybody came back and was like, we don't need you in our country anymore and shit like that. I was like, yo, like I literally could see Captain America being the person doing, and then and when I had that thought, it was about the time when I think her and dude was in the graveyard getting the serum talking, and that's when he was basically like, you
You're
are
Captain America.
Captain
Yeah.
America and shit. And I was like, like I was just thinking that same
Yeah.
fucking thing too. Like I feel like if Steve Rogers is with there, he would be
Mhm.
fucking with them right now. Like, yo, I got
Yeah.
you. So I really liked all of the character building we were getting in
Oh
this,
yeah,
and
all of it. And
and like I said,
one thing I enjoyed about Carly in this episode was I was worried when John fucking blows it that first time, and he gets impatient and he runs in on the conversation that Sam's having. Yeah, I was worried that they blew it completely. So I thought it said a lot about her character that, yes, she went about it in a villainous way by like contacting Sam's sister and shit, but like the fact that she did reach out to be like, I think maybe I can trust you. Like I thought that was cool. I thought, that did say a little bit more about her character. Like she's definitely somebody who like has the right ideas and is going about it the wrong way. Like it's like, yo,
mhm.
you don't got to be killing people and shit to like make your point here, Carly. But
Well, and I feel like she might have a redemption towards the end of this. I do
oh, I
feel,
think so. I think so. Yeah.
especially after how this ends with you know, John Walker
Mhm.
going all Walker
Oh,
Texas
just
Ranger.
yeah. And so we'll build into that because like Zemo, again, he's a guy who like he stays in his lane. He never falters uh from who he is. Like he does have that code and he sticks to it. Um And in this episode, you see that when he smashes all the serums, and it's just like, oh, is Zemo going to take one? And it's just like, no, that's not the Zemo thing to do.
Yeah, I
And
knew he was gonna smash some shit. He wants to rid
and
it. He wants to get
yeah,
it
and
gone.
so when he did that, it's like, you know what, that's dope. And then when that one was left over, and John took it, and they have that whole conversation about, would you take the serum? Would you take the serum? I thought it was an interesting choice that they chose not to show you take a hit like him taking the serum. They leave you kind of guessing and in that shot when he throws the shield into the wall and it's just like bang, I'm just like, uh-oh. I'm like, uh-oh.
No, yeah,
I knew he
I
was
was
gonna take it, but
I
like,
was questioning it when he was like boom through that door, and I was like, wait a second. And I was
yeah,
like, I feel like his buddy's about to die and he's gonna take it and then save him, but then
that's what I
ultimately
thought
go
was
take
gonna
it.
happen too. Yeah, I thought he was gonna take it after the
Yeah.
car got taken, but then he throws that shield right then
Well,
and
and
there.
then he throws the shield, and I was like, maybe I didn't see something right, and that guy grabbed it and threw it to the wall,
Yeah.
and then he pulls it out of the wall, and I'm like, oh no, yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, no,
game
he
time.
took that shit. And then
And I liked how
the one guy's reaction when he bends the fucking pipe on him and he
yeah.
just goes, "Oh shit." he, he just knows he's screwed.
Oh, and I believe Sam was there at that moment too, and it's like I'm sure at that
Yeah,
moment knows
because
like,
he
oh
goes, "What did you do?" He's like,
yeah.
"What did you do?" Yeah, yeah.
I still think though, like I said, I think with all the moments, especially with John Walker getting beat up by the Wakandans and all kinds of shit, and he made the comment being like they weren't even super soldiers and shit to a Battlestar. I do
Mhm.
feel like it's setting it up for an end battle with Sam and him to where Sam bests him as the new Captain America, and he's like, it fucks
Yeah,
with him. Like, oh, I got beat by a Captain America that's not a super soldier, and I am a
I'm
super soldier.
yeah. I'm curious to see what ultimately happens with John's character, like moving forward past this show. Like, does he survive? Like, if he does, like, what becomes of him? Like, I'm curious,
I'm
and
hoping he does.
I am open to this theory that I've been hearing that Sharon Carter might be the power broker, and I was like, I didn't even consider. I didn't even consider that.
I think I said that last week.
Did you?
I think I did. I think I said either she is or she knows somebody that might be.
Huh.
But I believe I said, because I was like, man, that was a weird shot with her getting in that car with that lady.
Yeah. Because I was like, I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, there's definitely like there's a strong possibility there.
I'd be with it.
Uh,
I'd get behind that.
my throat is so dry. Before we switch to the next show, I gotta hydrate. Stay hydrated, people.
Always hydrate. Always keep yourself watered up like a plant. That's the best way to do it. We like to take little breaks here. I don't know if anybody's tuning in right now. I can't really see those stats or anything like that. So if you are, welcome. It's Friday. Get some White Claws, get some vodkas or whiskeys or gin, whatever your thing is. I just kind of drink whatever's in the fridge or freezer myself. And he's back.
And we're back. Had to wet my whistle. So yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier this week was nuts, and I was gonna start out by saying if last week I was still wavering on whether or not this was my favorite MCU story, this week totally solidified it. I don't care how it ends. This is one of my favorite, like if not my number one right now for the MCU. I just love this story and the characters so much.
Very interesting.
Very into it right now. Very into it. But
Cannot wait for next week.
so, like I said, I was so jarred by today's episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier that I wasn't as affected by today's episode of Invincible.
Invincible.
And it always throws me off that Invincible's like opening credits don't hit until like almost goddamn 20 minutes into the show, and then it's just like it hits it. I'm like, wait a minute, is it over? And it's like, oh, it's just starting. Like I checked today, it was 16 minutes in when the fucking like opening.
It's whenever somebody first says Invincible that it shows it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, but
I wish I had time. I wish I would have remembered, I guess, at least to watch episode 4 again beforehand, because I kind of forget.
Well, I was
that
getting
one.
ready to say, if I'm not mistaken, so last week episode 4 was
when
he went to Mars.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we got to jump back to last week's episode. So Mark heads off to Mars while I believe Omni-Man and his wife are kind of working on things in that episode.
They go on vacation.
Yeah, they go on their vacation and shit. And my big thing, and it's been this way since the beginning, is like when is this thing with Omni-Man going to come to the light? You know, I'm waiting for that mystery to finally, like, you know.
Yeah, it's bubbling up. I was interested with this season. You know, that episode when they're up on Mars, and then they bring back like a shape-shifting.
Yeah, like parasite sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, parasite sort of alien that's now, I guess, destroying Mars, and going to come to Earth when it's done. So that's the thing out there.
Yeah, they dropped that in the last episode, and those were kind of the big things for episode 4, I believe.
Yeah, those two, and I believe. Well, and they sent.
I was going to say, did they send Dark Blood back to hell?
I was going to say Detective Demon. They sent Detective Demon back to hell.
Just some neighbors. Don't sweat it.
They sent him back. They sent him back to hell. And then you know, Mars went bad, but ended up good, but not.
Yeah, he thought he was successful, but he is unaware of the parasite he's brought back to Earth right now.
The Martians had a point in killing them all.
Yeah. Which I wondered, you know, at one point, because the one dude that was a member of the Guardians of the Globe was a Martian, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Maybe you can trust these guys. Speaking of, the flip side of that was today's episode. The whole thing with today's episode was you can't trust these guys. Like, and his father was very adamant about, like, you don't need to help this dude. And the thing is, I believed him. I thought he was doing the right thing. And actually, like I said, I was kind of checked out a little bit. It's an episode I need to watch with a little bit more.
They got me swerved. They had me swerved on it.
When because I wasn't paying attention, and when I kind of tuned back in and I saw that everybody had gotten their asses beat. I didn't realize that was all. I didn't realize he was double crossed until that last scene when he's like, "Hey, boss," or he was like, "Oh, sorry."
You didn't even. That's when you knew the double cross went down. Like the whole time, like it builds up. This whole episode builds up in introducing this new character, Titan. That you got to see beforehand, but really giving him like this villain a backstory that you feel for. You're like, he's basically trying to clean up his neighborhood all the time. He's kind of got himself in a situation with a crime lord. Machine Head is the guy's name, and just not a good situation. So he goes to Invincible to be like, bro, I need you to help me out. That's what you do. And it's like after, and it's all after his daughter is like, who's that? Is he a good guy and stuff? Because she sees Invincible. And like you said, the dad comes across Omni-Man as a dick. Like, fuck that. That's beneath you. You don't need to do street level shit. You need to save the world.
Yeah.
And really comes across like, damn, because I was like, fuck, I'd help this guy. Like, maybe he's going to be a hero. And it's
that
crazy.
was kind of shocking. Yeah, because I was like, oh.
Because it's like those two go up there and they go against and for Mark, Invincible's whole story is with his girlfriend that he seems to really dig. He's always late for everything, and she's like, "This is the last time. You better not be late." And he's helping this guy out. Little does she know what he's really doing.
Yeah,
he goes to help this dude out, and 5 or 6 fucking villains show up all at once, and they just get murked.
Just annihilated.
And then there's a quick shot of Omni-Man outside, like watching all this shit going down. And then like you're like, all right, maybe he's gonna show up, and then goes back and they're getting their asses kicked. And then it's like the Guardians of the Globe show up, and they're like, oh, we got an anonymous tip that this was going down. And it's like, all right, well, obviously maybe Omni-Man called them. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Just how Omni-Man is like one of those things where it's like you made your bed, lay in it, like I told you, and you didn't listen to me. So now you're going to learn this lesson. Well, that lesson was pretty harsh, I think, because
I think they're getting that 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 didn't kill Mark by the end of it,
Yeah, but like, damn, it pretty much looked like he died. I think maybe he like resuscitates, but like,
but everybody else,
he was
definitely bit the dust. Everybody else definitely bit the dust.
I think something about this episode that like, kind of going back to like how Justice League was, like any superhero team, it's like, you got to work together as a team, otherwise you're just a bunch of fucking IPs thrown together, and it's like today's episode was definitely touching on that, how it's like the very beginning, the one guy who's been a member forever is like, we fought like 6 individual assholes instead of a full team, like, and look at all these people got killed, and then at the end, they've had that tragedy, and like they lose some of their members, and then they come together and they do like combine their skills and start working together as a team. It's like, it's cool. It's it's still a very subversive like comic book story. It's like both familiar and not, and it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. Definitely.
Yeah, and then the swerve at the end with the guy that you thought was trying to get a redemption, he's just trying to take over as crime lord.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what? Yeah, you're like, man, because I was like, man, they killed a lot of people. Like, I like the monster girl.
Yeah,
and it seems to be at the moment that she's bit the dust.
Yeah, Robot was not happy about that one.
Which it seemed like he was trying to figure out a way. It seemed like it seemed like his little backstory there was trying to figure out a way to get her to stop de-aging.
Ah.
I figured that's what he was trying to do, and that's why, like, when she died, he was so like, no, like, because he's like, yo, I was just about to get this villain dude to figure out how to get you to stop de-aging, or like, because that's kind of.
I didn't I really rewatch episode 5. It sounds like I don't think I gave it like I zoned out like in the middle of it.
Yeah, because that shows, that dude getting his clone and the clone doing the same shit. Like, yeah, you're the clone. He's like, no.
Yeah.
But then when that dude, the robot dude, shows up, he pops a vial of blood out and he's like, I need you to break down a metamorphosis for me and shit like that. I felt like that was who he's talking about, because when she was like, um, she hit that line after, when they were all, that guy was all telling them they all
Yeah, there
fucked
goes
up.
another week.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah,
nobody else sacrificed anything besides me. I'm a week younger. And then he's
yeah,
like, the little robot, it zooms in on him, like, noted.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I feel like he'll figure out, hopefully, because I really thought her character was pretty dope. I thought that
yeah.
was cool, a cool little concept. So I'd like to see more of that shit. But again, interested to see where it goes. They didn't touch base today on the little alien shapeshifter things.
No, I don't know how many episodes this first season is. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know how many we've got left. I want to say it's maybe 8, but who knows? It could
Yeah,
be longer.
I thought it was something short.
I don't know. I'll look. I'll tell you right now. We'll do our research here.
Still coming up on Chase and Shep, we have Godzilla vs. Kong and the Unholy to talk about.
8
Fantastic
episodes.
Friday.
8
So we
episodes.
got
We got 3
3.
episodes left of both shows. Is that right? No, we've got
No,
2 left.
2.
2 left on Falcon and Winter Soldier. 3 left on Invincible. And then I think we got like a month before Loki starts. I don't think we'll have any supers to talk about for a minute, but so
We'll find something.
the movies. We're just going with the ticker tape, going with the flow of the ticker tape.
Going with the flow of the
Uh,
ticker tape, I guess. Yeah, Godzilla
well,
vs.
I
Kong.
suppose we should definitely Godzilla versus Kong here because we did not get to it last week. So
Technical
Godzilla,
difficulties.
yeah. So Godzilla versus Kong, you saw it on HBO Max. I saw it in the IMAX, and it makes a difference. Definitely makes a difference. Uh, those fight scenes in the IMAX are definitely worth the price of admission. I mean, it's or the threat of COVID, depending on who you are. Uh, it's definitely worth it. Uh, Especially when they're going at it there at the end, and like there's that shot where like Godzilla gives that cheeky little smile when he like rocks Kong. The fights were dope, and Kong is my boy. I went into this Team Kong to begin with, so I was a little biased. Like I love Kong Skull Island. That's just one of I just dug that movie altogether. I thought it was a really well directed movie, and I got really into it when it first came out. Uh, so yeah, I was not too terribly upset that there wasn't a whole lot of Godzilla in this, but I could have gone for more monsters. I could have gone for like more, not like more monsters besides these two, but more like screen time for Kong and Godzilla, like more of the fights and stuff for sure.
I don't know, man. I it's a good movie, like you said. The fights were good, but I just kind of thought it was boring, man. Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
it was just okay. It's all over the place to me. I think this movie's all over the place. Like
I'm big on Godzilla. I feel like had this came out well closer with Godzilla
yeah,
King of Monsters, I feel like it would have been a lot better. But with the big gap, it's like, unless I watched that one right before watching this, it wouldn't, it just didn't sit right. I think the two of those together might be dope to watch.
yeah, yeah. It might, and that's another one I need to go back and rewatch was King of the Monsters because I didn't care much for King of the Monsters when I first watched it. I thought it was a little underwhelming. But that was one I watched at home, and I didn't get the chance to see that one in theaters. Um, so I'll give it another shot. But for me, I just felt like it was all over the place, and like I think I saw another reviewer be like, "Yeah, the whole 2 hours I was watching this movie, I enjoyed it, but I could not tell you what was going on the whole time. Like I could never tell you. It's like, hey, what's this movie about? I've got no fucking idea. Like, because the threads are just kind of all over the place, and it's like." Because it's so uneven. Like, so Brian Tyree Henry, the actor in here, he plays Paperboy in Atlanta. Uh, I loved him in this movie. I thought he did a really good job as like the paranoid podcaster guy, but like that whole storyline just kind of felt weird to me. Like it just felt like it didn't fit because like by the time we'd wrap back around to that, like all in all, it's just like okay, this all happened. So what? They could pour some whiskey on the control panel, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I didn't think that paid off, and it's like sometimes by the time we would get back to these stories, I just didn't care anymore because it's just all over the place, man. And I feel like because of that, they never spent enough time on certain things. Like when they finally went to Hollow Earth, I was like, I don't care, man. Like, by the time they left, they were like, there's so much cool shit here, and it's beautiful. It's visually just beautiful, but like I just didn't care. Because they didn't show anything really. They had like the couple of like other monsters down there, but it's like there's this whole mythology down there, and they hardly even. All they did was take like King Kong for a walk, and essentially he played out like Thor and Infinity War and got his little fucking axe. When all was said and done, this is just a journey to go get a weapon, and it's just like, well, all right, you know, I guess that's cool, but like this was all pretty silly, I feel like. But one really good point I saw somebody else make that I had to agree with was like, these movies were kind of like they were technically like set like in the present day, like King of the Monsters was like would have been, what, 2018, 2019, whenever that came out. And like all of a sudden in like 2 or 3 years time in universe, they just have like sci-fi tech all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like they've just advanced like, by just decades of technology in like a few short years. And it's just like,
I
what
guess
the
so.
fuck? Come on. It's just like that's kind of like yes, there's monsters and shit, and like you're suspending your disbelief a little bit as is, but like come the hell on, you know what I mean? Anyways, Godzilla vs Kong, you?
I mean, like I said, I wish I had more Godzilla in it. Other than that, it is exactly what you are expecting to see.
hmm Yeah, I was not surprised by a moment of this movie. I was just like, this is everything I thought it was going to be when I bought my ticket.
I couldn't even tell you if it had a post-credit scene or anything because I didn't. Oh,
They
they got.
didn't. Because I googled it. I googled it because I'm like, I'm not going to sit here if there's not one. So
I didn't
uh,
stick around.
I was even like, even if there is one, I'll go home, hop on HBO Max, and just like fast forward to the end. And it's like if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Uh, but yeah, it seems like they might be closing out that little movie universe, but you never know. Sometimes, like they don't studios don't know when to kill a franchise. Sometimes, so you never know. We'll see what happens there. But score for Godzilla vs Kong.
6.5 out of 10.
Yep, same here. 6.5 out of 10. That 0.5 for potential. Yep. Yep. I reflecting on that series as a whole, I just, a lot of Godzilla movies are just fucking boring. And they're just kind of fucking boring,
You can
unfortunately.
only do so much with a gigantic monster before it's just like
Specifically the like the original company Toho released one like back in 2018, I think, or maybe 2017, uh, called Shin Godzilla, and I fell asleep. Like there was so much just talking in this movie that like I just fell asleep. I just did not care. It was just so boring. I'm like, it's a monster movie. Why am I so bored? But sorry, Godzilla. Kong is
sorry,
my
buddy.
Kong bows to no one. To no one. But this other movie, uh,
The
The
Unholy.
Unholy. Um, I probably would not have checked this out until you said something. You're like, "Hey, I saw the trailer floating around," and then you were like, "Hey, I watched this trailer and it looks kind of dope." Uh, and then I think you just ended up watching it, right? You
I
just
did.
watched it, and then I was like, "Well, shit! Since you watched it, I'll hit it up at the theater." Produced by Sam Raimi, and I do love Sam Raimi.
The man. The man.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. Uh, and I like the movies he produces. Like sometimes, they're not crazy good, but he produces a lot of good like PG-13 horror movies, and this is one of them. I mean, it was, again, it wasn't like spectacular. I wasn't. By the time this movie was over, I was like, this isn't one I'm gonna rush out and buy like as soon as it comes out. I might buy a copy of it like eventually if it's on sale or something, or if I really wanted to watch it. But it was okay. Like it was scary. You know, it definitely had that creep factor going for it that PG-13 movies always have, because they don't have gore and shit to fall back on. So they just kind of they have to be creepy. They have to be scary. And this definitely had that. But I felt like there was like a longer movie here too. That, like I told you, I want to read the book that it's based off of, because specifically there's that character of like the doctor in town, who uh, the whole time, every time her character shows up, it's as if there were other scenes that we weren't aware of. You know, like the very first time the main character and her talk to one another, uh, he says something about, like, you know I didn't make a very good first impression, and I think he may have meant something else, but like I was like, are we missing something here? And then it just kind of kept happening that way, like through the whole movie, where like it sounded like we were coming into the middle of these conversations. It's like, were y'all having like a talk about something before we jumped into this scene, sort of thing? And so sometimes I felt like there's a little bit more, but I dug it.
No, I thought it was a pretty interesting movie myself. I like the creepiness aspect. I was, you're questioning like, who the hell's, what was up with the beginning of it, because it's like you just see first person view. But it was interesting. It was an interesting tape. Like I said, I thought it was a sequel to a movie we had already watched, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, because there was a movie. Oh, I asked you when I told you about the trailer. I can't think of it right now. And you're like, yeah, I had seen that. And I was like, I thought that this one was like a sequel to that. It was like about some girl that got possessed on her birthday, and she goes to like the mental institution, but at the end they try to exorcise it, and she just kills them all and leaves. I forget what I think it was called, like the Vatican tapes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Oh,
I didn't see that one.
It had a similar ending to where this one's story went, but like with a girl who claims to be,
well, the whole thing was that there was this spirit that was released that people believed was the Virgin Mary, but ended up to be a demon that is posing as the Virgin Mary, as demons do, making a mockery of Christianity and stuff. And it was interesting, this whole premise of Mary taking everybody's souls and stuff. And I definitely got into it there at the end. It definitely ramped up, and good acting in it. I always like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's pretty dope.
Yeah, he was really good in this. I felt very believable guy.
But all in all, it was like a good little popcorn flick. Like, if you want to get out and catch a scary movie, hey man, if you haven't been to the theaters in a while, it's a good little weekend flick to catch. Just nothing crazy good. Just a decent little fright flick.
I agree.
Yeah. So, what's your score for this one?
I would say 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Yeah, I was gonna go like 6.8. Yeah, 6.8, 7, whatever. around that range. Yeah.
7 just sounded right to me.
Yeah, it was okay. It was just decent entertainment. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it for this week. You got anything? Have you watched anything else this week that you could recommend to the people?
I've watched some shit, but not that I could recommend. I watched this movie I saw on Hulu the other day with Bella Thorne in it.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, but the only reason I did was because I saw Mickey Rourke, and I was like, all right, Mickey Rourke, you can't go wrong.
And did you? Did you go wrong?
It's about what you would, watching the trailer, it's about what you'd expect from the movie.
Yeah, I haven't watched the trailer for it, but I think the other new one that I saw was Bad Trip, the Eric Andre one on Netflix. It was decent. Most of the entertainment comes out of the gimmick of like the. I want to say, like, I haven't really seen it done before, but I want to. It's more like I haven't seen it done in the way that it was done in this movie, like how even though they were playing pranks and stuff, like I watched an interview with Eric Andre that's like, we're literally relying on these people to like get us to the next scene. Like, so we're sitting here talking to these people for like 2 hours just to get 2 lines of dialogue out of them. Like, we're just trying to get them to say a certain thing so that we can like transition to the next scene, because it is like a scripted narrative story, and but it is a hidden camera prank thing too. So it's very interesting to see all these real people who don't realize they're a part of a movie. And where I thought it was really amusing are like the scenes, like not so much the pranks, but like the scenes that are like the movie scenes where like the girl walks in the coffee shop and he's just like staring at her longingly and the music's playing and stuff. Well, like we see that, but these people are standing there at the register like, what the fuck, like as he's just like staring off into the distance and stuff. And it was pretty funny if you're into that Eric Andre type of humor, for sure.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's it for Friday.
Friday.
Fantastic Friday. We'll be back to get your mind right on Mental Health Monday.
Monday.
Peace, boys and girls.
Smooches, deuces.